Viewer, here you're looking at a picture of a board game that was designed for children called the No Fault Zone. And it's a form of dialogue for increasing the possibilities for connection and diffusing conflict. And it was designed by Sarah Hart for the classroom. I had the opportunity to see Sarah Hart present this board game at a local school, which is called Glenfork on Beach Drive. And it was an amazing example of a simple way to present nonviolent communication. And in a video I did just prior to this one, I focused on the somatic dialogue that starts by checking in to identify one's feelings and marrying that feeling with a need, a value-based need, which is actually the intention of any conversation. However, in most dialogues, people are not connected to the intention of what it is they want to say. They are being buffeted around in their feelings, and so it's a reactionary state that most of us act from. Nonviolent communication offers the listener an opportunity to logically connect to what's alive in them and tell their story in a way that others are more apt to hear them. Unfortunately, when we're reacting in our feelings, people are stimulated and they shut off. They don't hear what's important to the person speaking. So in the first video, as I mentioned, I focused on the somatic dialogue, which is the connection to feelings and needs. And today I'd like to talk about the conscious mindfulness that would be the purpose of even transitioning out of strategies and going into the facts that two or more people can agree on. And just prior to the observation, which consists of the facts that two or more people can agree on, is a personal choice. And so we always have a choice in the way we respond. Even when we're in the throes of the strongest feelings, we have a choice. And in a reaction, some of the choices might be, a mild one is complaining or labeling self or others, or blaming self and others for doing something to you or to others, or making demands. The unfortunate thing is that those choices generally have somebody complying or not complying without willingness to do it on their own accord. They're being forced into doing something based on guilt, doubt, anger, frustration, and a sense of power over or power under. So the dialogue's not power with, so there's not that mutuality or equality between two or more people. So there's resistance, there's resentment. It creates a foundation of ill will, which eventually there will be consequences. Maybe not in the moment. You might start to get things done the way you want them, but eventually it's going to fall apart. There's going to be consequences because a person isn't doing an action that you've asked them to do in a willingness to take that step. So one of the first things that a choice could entail is the will to diffuse one's anger, to tell your story in a way the other person wants to hear what's going on for you in order to contribute to your well-being. And basically that's what nonviolent communication focuses on, is speaking a language where others want to contribute to your well-being and meet your needs. So one of the first things to do is create an energy shift to get out of that state of rage, anger, frustration, uh, the mental concepts of labeling people, judging them, uh, accusing them, diagnosing them, all of those types of evaluations that disconnect others and you. So, one of the first steps is to turn the story that you're hearing in your head or you're hearing from other people into a concrete observation. And an observation is something that can be filmed through the lens of a camera. It's not somebody's opinion, it's not their perspective, it's not their belief system. It is the facts. What can you agree on? So you can agree on what you see, what you hear, what you touch, what you taste, what you smell. So it is the exact sound, which in language would be the exact words somebody stated. So it's not somebody's opinion or interpretation of what they think someone said, it's the exact concrete words. It's the exact concrete visual of what is taking place that two people can agree on. So we're diffusing the filter of interpretation that is organic in most people. And in most situations, two people or more will see something differently. So that necessitates the need for what the facts are. Once the facts are agreed upon, each person will be stimulated in different ways. So their feelings will be different. Their range of emotions will be different, and their needs will be different. So when you have two or more people with their individual feelings and their individual needs that are either being met or not met, trying to have a conversation, the outcome can be pretty wild, pretty chaotic. So the observation is really important. The first step is to stop, check in, find out, well, what do I want to do in this situation? So you have two hands. In one hand, you have a need to connect. In the other hand, there might be a need to just react. However, if you want to connect, you're going to make a choice to interact with someone in a way that they would like to hear you. If you want to react, by all means, you're going to react in a way that might be satisfying in the moment, but you're going to do so consciously, knowing that there's going to be consequences. There's going to be some type of consequence swinging back towards you based on your reaction. So, in the observation, once again, you're listening to your thoughts of yourself, or you're listening to your thoughts about others. And we call that the jackal show. And that's the story that creates conflict. So, knowing this, we're going to want to pause, turn that story into concrete facts, and then check in to identify what we're feeling and marry that to a need. And so the first video that I presented did focus on the feelings and needs. So it might be a good listen for any listener that's made it this far. You might want to check that one out. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And I hope this actually helps and supports people to want to make a choice, to pause, step in, and reflect on what is going on inside in terms of being alive before they go into reaction or take concrete action steps. Thank you.